Hi guys, it's Steve. This is the third in my marketing tips series, and really what I want to talk to you today about is the sort of time commitments are necessary to build your practice. In my first video, I was encouraging you to start early and figuring out your marketing and working through the very many predictable doubts and fears and confusions that most coaches try to avoid. So let's say you're successful in doing that and you're beginning to put some time in. Well, how much time does it take to build a practice? Well, as I mentioned earlier, some coaches can go from having no clients to, a full practice, 15, 20 or more clients in a very short period of time, but that is exceedingly rare. There have been a few studies from different schools that I've seen, and I've worked with hundreds and hundreds of coaches. And from those studies and my own experience, I think it takes, the average coach at least 18 months to go from not having any clients, not having a clue how to market themselves and charge and, attract clients, to being at a place where they, have all the clients they want. 18 months or more. So how do you get there? Now, it depends on your situation. There's lots of coaches that are coming into coaching while they've got a day job and they've got commitments with a family and they just don't have a lot of time to take their training and do marketing. So that's really common. And at the other end of the scale, you've got people that are going in whole hog and digging into their savings to fund their coach training and working with coaches and mentors to get this thing off the ground. So it's different for everybody, but in terms of some general rules that'll help you figure out your time commitments, my experience is that if you can just put an hour a week into learning about marketing, reading books, listening to videos like this, working with a coach or a mentor on marketing specific issues, just 1 hour a week, then you're going to get there. It's going to happen. If you have less than an hour a week, it's kind of hard to get critical mass. You get pulled out of, tasks you're doing and distracted too easily. So my recommendation is to put aside at least an hour a week to think about marketing, learn about marketing, take some marketing steps, begin to execute on some of these things. If you've got more time, great, because it's just going to allow you to go much, much faster. Now, in the early stages of your practice, where you really don't know who your market is yet, and you're not that confident or competent at, giving sample sessions or speaking or, getting in front of a lot of people, a good rule of thumb is it can take about 5 hours, 3 to 5 hours of kind of focused marketing to identify potential clients for age, income, inclination, whether they're open to it. Contact those potential clients. Half of them are not going to be interested, aren't going to return your call. But let's say you identify 6 potential clients. You contact them with an offer for a sample session or some other opportunity to get together. Maybe only 3 are going to say yes to that. And if you meet with those people or give them a good sample session, on average, maybe 1 is going to hire you. I call that the 6-3-1 rule. Identify 6 prospects. You can usually give sample sessions to 3, and usually 1 becomes your client. Now, that whole exercise of doing that takes the average coach 3 to 5 hours. Once they kind of know what they're doing and get pretty good at it. So you got to do the math on that. If you want 1 new client a week, then you better be putting in 5 hours of marketing a week. If you want 1 client a month, then you better be putting in 5 hours over the course of that month. And the more you do of this, the more you see what works for you, what's natural for you, and you tweak it and it gets better and better. But still, there's a lot of time that goes into finding those clients in the early stages of your practice. Now, once you've kind of figured out who your ideal clients are and what they're interested in learning in and how you can best connect to them and how you can build your visibility and credibility and get a much bigger network, it gets so much easier. Because at that point, you're not tracking down people that, haven't thought of talking to you, aren't perhaps interested in exploring different changes. When you get to a stage in your practice where you're attracting people, those are people that are thinking hard about changing and doing research about what are the options out there and who can I work with, and hey, maybe this person might help me. So it's a much different demographic that's coming to you at that stage of your practice. And how it plays out with coaches, because every coach is different. Some are extroverts and they like to get out and talk more in person. Some are introverts and they like to stay home and, rely on websites and social media, or, videos and articles they might write. So it's very different for everyone. But really quickly, once you've kind of set up your practice and you know who your ideal clients are, you start to get a feel that every time I write a newsletter and it goes out to, X hundred people or X thousand people, you get a certain number of them that are now ready and interested to work with you, and so they're going to contact you and want to talk to you. Every time you put a video out to your audience, or share something on social media, or give a talk to an audience, or do a workshop, you start to get a feel for, okay, when I do that for this size of audience, I often get 3 or 4 people that contact me and 1 or 2 clients. And so you can dial in your marketing, and it gets far, far less work down the road. So in my practice, for instance, I've been coaching for 18 years now, or thereabouts. And it's pretty darn easy, because your website attracts a certain number of people, write a certain number of newsletters or blogs, you get a certain number of people. And so you can kind of dial in your marketing for your practice. And I do very little marketing for most of the year. And I take a lot of time off in the summer to enjoy my life. And when I come back at the end of the summer and I want to ramp up my coaching a bit, I'll write a newsletter, or I'll be more active sharing on social media, or, and that'll be more than enough work to fill my client's roster. So the message really in this video is that it does take time, a lot of time, to build your practice up, figure stuff out. And so you want to be kind of doing the math on that and translating, 3 to 5 hours to get a client, what's that going to look like in my practice, and adjust your marketing into your, the time you allocate for marketing into your calendar, so that you get the results you want. There's way too many coaches out there that think that, a half hour a month of thinking about their business card or chatting about it in a coffee shop is going to fill your practice, and it's just not the case. In the early days, you got to put the time in. As you get more established, it's going to get easier, but if you're in your early days, start putting that time in. There's a learning curve you got to go through. Okay, people, thank you. Good luck with everything you're doing, and I'll look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye-bye.